All right, everybody, this is for those of you who either don't understand this and need some more reinforcement or are absent today. So before we even start, make sure you've read the other side of this handout. It goes over all the rules of the rocks we learned in the lesson in class. All right, we're going to start off with cross-section A. I'm not going to do B, that's for you guys to do. But cross-section A, the first step we want to do is we want to number what layers came first, next, and so on, all the way to the last layer. And we know from below that there are 10 steps in this cross-section. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, according to the principle of superposition, the oldest layer is on the bottom, and limestone is it. So there's our number one. Next layer is the shale. Okay, following the shale, we have some decisions here. We have to look at things. We see a wavy line right here. We know that's an unconformity according to the rules of the rocks. That's some steps. And we also have this granite over here that's intruded, some contact metamorphism. And according to the contact metamorphism, which cooked some of this sandstone, the sandstone must have come next. So I'm going to take care of the unconformity. That's actually 2 steps, which we'll get to when we write out our stories. We have some uplift and erosion and subsidence. And then the sandstone has to come next. Okay, and that's because it got cooked by this granite. So at this point, the granite, we could either let it go till later, but I like to take care of these things when I can. Doesn't mean it necessarily is 6, but 6 makes the most sense. So the granite came in, it intruded up through, including the sandstone, and cooked the layers where the contact metamorphism exists. Okay, now we're up to 7, would be the shale. Probably not the basalt, not here, because the basalt looks like it pushed the shale and the limestone upwards. So I'm going to go with 7, I'm going to go with 8, and then the thing that pushed them up, which is the basalt, is 9. And then if you notice, the top layer is really bumpy and eroded. That's actually a step. That's step 10. So there's our 10 steps. Now we have to write out the stories, starting with number 1, the limestone. Limestone is a sedimentary rock, and on the front, you'll see sedimentary rocks are deposited. So I'm going to write deposition of limestone. Okay, the next rock was also sedimentary. It was a shale. So 2, and I'll abbreviate this, dep of shale. 3 and 4 were that unconformity. And remember, those steps include uplift and erosion. I count that as 1 step. Followed by, and the reason why this next step is here is because there's sandstone on top. And sandstone's made in the presence of water, usually in the bottoms of oceans. So you have to go back underwater. And that's called subsidence. So we've gone up, now we go below. And now we can put that sandstone down, which is another sedimentary rock, so it's deposition of sandstone. I think at this point we took care of that granite. Step 6 was the granite, and granite is an intrusive igneous rock. You might recall back to your reference tables and the igneous rock chart where granite is found right here. It's intrusive. Basalt, which is a common rock in these diagrams, is extrusive. So just keep that in mind. So our next step is going to be an intrusion of granite. I think from here it goes into some sedimentary rock layers. So the deposition of, for 7 and 8, shale and limestone. Deposition of shale. Deposition of limestone. Sorry I'm writing messy here, guys. Just trying to get this done so you can get some help on that homework. And 9 was that last liquid rock that intruded up through, but it's actually, I'm going to consider this an extrusion, mainly because it's liquid basalt, but it can see the light of day. So, you know, it's exposed right there. to sunshine. And you know, maybe it was an intrusion, it's just below the surface, but we have to pick one or the other, so my choice is extrusion of basalt. Remember, it has smaller crystals because it cools near the surface or on the surface. And that last step, it was all bumpy. Most of my cross sections have this on the top, so this is another erosion. Uplift, just in case it's below water, and erosion. All right, so this is a pretty good idea of what happened. It might not be exactly what happened, but it's the best that we're going to come up with on this one. You have to do diagram B, and diagram B has one step that I haven't included in the first cross section. Somewhere in diagram B is a fold, and it's one folding event, so one step is going to be folding, and it takes place after a bunch of other rocks are deposited. So there's 14 steps. Good luck. Do it in pencil in case you have to erase and fix. Okay, take care.